Hello. Who changed my. Somebody changed my colors. It's not allowed. What do you guys think? I think I'm going to go with this one. Biola University, Bible Institute of Los Angeles, has been a lot in the news lately. Well, not in the news. There's been a lot of discussion. Um, Good evening, Dawn. There's been a lot of discussion with Alisa Childers and Theology Mom and various professors, including Sam Tiedemann's favorite uh, Trinitarian theologian, um, have been discussing what has been going on in at Biola University. And I mean, since I am in Los Angeles and Biola has become more and more of an actual, Biola has become kind of a extension of our, what do you call it? Maybe even estuary. They're like So I grew up in Los Angeles. I've been living here since I was 7, which was over 40 years ago. And I had never heard of Biola. To this day, when I um, introduce Biola students to, I actually took one of the Biola students to a synagogue with me and introduced him to people. And uh, like nobody had any idea where Biola was. A lot of people confuse it with Baylor, which is in Texas, and it's weird because Biola is a very important part of the greater Christian um, milieu, evangelical Christian milieu, certainly of Los Angeles. And I had no idea about that. I honestly did not know Biola existed at all. Um, and somebody asked about why evangelicals aren't a larger cultural force. And I'm not kidding when I say that I know Hasidic groups, which are less insular than uh, even Christian evangelicals are. Like, what I have learned about evangelical Christians has been pretty shocking to me, really, um, over the past few years. And what it seems like the people at Biola feel like they are under siege, and in a very real sense, they are under siege. It reminds me of the conflict that Yeshiva University is having with the state of New York. Um, and anybody who's actually paying attention to what's going on to Biola. I mean, I didn't know um, how much the people who watch my channel um, are aware of what's going on with Biola. Um, and frankly, I'm guessing anybody who does know what's going on with Biola has no real idea what Yeshiva University even is. But they're in a very similar position. What have you learned? Hey, RJ. What have I learned? I've learned that Christians are more insular than Hasidic Jews. Evangelical Christians, believe it or not, are more insular than Hasidic Jews. Uh, and I'm not joking about that. I really am not joking about that. It's weird. It's certainly counterintuitive. Um, I mean, hey, Jason. Um, yeah, which reminds me, Mitch was supposed to come out, come on my channel. He's been delinquent. Uh, what is Biola? Biola is the Bible Institute of Los Angeles. It is a Christian university here in Los Angeles. Um, and actually, Jason's father-in-law is a um, therapist who graduated from Biola, who I am hopefully going to be interviewing sometime. And um, there's actually somebody else who has been talking about Biola, who's side X. I don't know if you guys know about side A, side B, and side X, but he's side X. He did not, Jason. It's a yeshiva for evangelicals, apparently. They have everything these days. Um, yeah. And so the side X. So side A Christians are affirming of in with regards to the gay debate. Yeah. Side B are people who are not affirming. And they're like, hey, we need to deal with this. Side X are people who are critical of even side B, and part of the problem with side B is it's not exactly clear what the lines are, and side X is kind of like a pox on both your houses, side A and side B. Preston Sprinkle thinks of himself as side B. There's a gentleman named Andrew Rodriguez from Integrity Christian Counseling, so I have been binge listening. Yeah, I'm pretty much, I think, I mean, I'm somewhere between side B and side X. I've been binge listening to Theology Mom because she's a firecracker. Krista Bontrager. I hope I'm saying that right. She's a rager. She is. She and Alisa Childers have been interesting people to get to know. There is a capacity women have for relational aggression that men just fail at. Anyway, I hate just sitting here talking to myself. So if somebody wants to jump on and have a conversation, but I am thinking I will probably engage more with the whole Biola discussion. It really is along the lines of what was going on in the CRC, and their whole fight over human sexuality and the Human Sexuality Report. And frankly, Biola is close to home. believe it or not, I have been on Biola's campus. Um, and yeah, it's weird being this knowledgeable about what I consider to be an incredibly insular community, but it's an incredibly insular community that like numbers in the millions of people. I mean, here um, let's ask uh, Supergrok. Um, what? How many evangelical Christians are in the United States? Um, I was talking to a student at Grand Canyon University, and uh, roughly 61 million, right? So just in the United States, they are four times the number of Jews in the world. Um, yeah, and yet they act like a beleaguered minority. That's what I mean by Biola under siege, as opposed to being a fighting like. Honestly, if I were an evangelical Christian, I would want Doug Wilson to be the new chancellor of Biola University, right? I would want like this idea of the church militant that that Father Eric uses. It's from um, Catholic theology, like the idea that we are here to conquer the world for Christ, right? And to some extent, Paul thinks that I am like uh, if I should be careful what I wish for because I might get it good and hard as a Jew. Um, but I would like to I would like to see Christians not be so exhausted. Christianity not be as exhausted as it is in its fight against secularity and immorality, and that's the interesting part about Theology Mom and Alisa Childers and stuff. They're not exhausted. um, Jason can't because it's their last. How do you? What do you mean it's your last night there? You guys were supposed to set up my discussion with your father-in-law while you were still in Seattle or wherever you guys are in Washington State. Um, wow. I guess I am not going to speak with Jason's father-in-law, um, who I would like to speak with because he. If you guys haven't seen Pink Chair Therapy, which is Becca's channel, where discusses she discusses addiction with her father. It's interesting. It's very interesting. Arguably, secularity is a Christian invention. They should fix it if they broke it. Actually, I would argue that secularity is a Jewish invention. Lahavdil ben Kodesh Lachol is, I would say, a Jewish invention. And I would say that that is a good thing that God has blessed us with. Of course, and I would actually blame Martin Luther for in effect destroying secularity with his one speed Christianity. Hey guys, have you seen my puppy? He's kind of big now, and he needs a haircut. Can you believe he's only 4 months old? Garth says, "I'd like to think it was a thing. It was a group effort." Lucky, say hi. Hey, hi, Lucky. Yes, he is. Um, they did one new episode between her and her dad, but we didn't get a chance to set it up. Last he told me was to have you call him, and he would get back to you to talk on the phone first. I think, well, we're going to the vet on Friday to get his final set of shots, and I think he's 30 pounds now, and he has the hiccups again. You and your hiccups. We were babysitting Jack's poodle over the break, uh, and Lucky had definitely uh, tired her out. There's a bunch of you watching, but none of you are jumping on. I would like to continue talking about the whole what you call it thing, but the whole Biola thing. But I hate just sitting here and talking to myself. And um, what is going on at Biola? Um, so how mean am I going to be? Um, Protestants have to deal with the fact that the real world, um, how do I put this nicely, puts the lie to all of the stupid ideas of Christianity. That's me trying to be nice. Um, Look, if you're a Christian and you send your kid to a Christian college, right? And your kid likes to think that he's saved and he believes in Jesus and he believes that extramarital sex is, um, and I have to say, Paul Vanderklay was 100% right when he said the focus on homosexual relations in Christian life is a proxy for the fight over all of the heterosexual sin that is completely overtaking, um, that is obvious in Christian life, right? So for every um, one student that is struggling with homosexuality at Biola, there are 100 students who are having premarital sex. And it is theologically incoherent um, to say that the gay Christian isn't Christian, but the straight Christian who's having premarital sex when they could just get married is a Christian, right? Christians have to deal with the fact that they have this idea Lou?
Hello. Hey.
Hey, what do you have to say for yourself?
Well, I watched the Alisa Childers episode, so I thought I would just pop in real quick.
Okay, what do you have to say for yourself?
Well, I think it is a little bit like the CRC stuff. Um, I mean, I grew up in the Church of the Nazarene,
Okay.
which is a little bit smaller denomination, but kind of on that. You talked about side A and side B, one of those denominations kind of wrestling with that stuff.
Mhm.
Um, So in Biola seems to be like right on that edge as well.
I mean, I think pretty much all Christians are wrestling with this stuff.
Hmm.
It's the Catholics are wrestling with it.
Yep.
Eastern Orthodox aren't wrestling with it as prominently, but frankly, um, Orthodox Jews are wrestling with it too. Uh,
Hmm.
Look, there are gay people in this world,
Yep.
whether you like it or not. Um, Neil says, uh, YouTube tells me I have to build positivity. If you say so. Um, I think Paul Vanderklay is correct when he says the gay question, the focus on gay people is just a proxy for let's deal with the porn problem. Like that's a real problem.
Right. Yeah,
Like
that's a larger problem.
much larger problem.
Yep.
Much larger problem and a real problem. Like yeah. So like how many of these people are talking about porn? Very little.
Yeah, I mean, you might be surprised. Having grown up in the evangelical world, at least in my circles, it was a pretty common topic of discussion. Um, Maybe I don't. Well, yeah, I mean, even like the big Promise Keepers movement, they talked about it quite a bit too.
um, I would very seriously like to see the government crack down on um, porn being available to children.
Hmm.
Like there is there is no reason why children under 18 should have the prolific uh, exposure to porn that they do, and they do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But nobody's actually addressing that, and that's really harmful. You
Yeah.
don't need to ban smartphones, although we should, but you don't. It doesn't have to be that extreme, right? Um, like, and when Sam Tiedemann mentioned this, it really scared me. Um, he said, like, porn, AI porn, could possibly be addictive to the point of being a like a species-ending event, and it could. It
Well,
really could. Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's the value of religion is it does provide a way of kind of dealing with this stuff without going through the legal means. Um, like as a society, we did a pretty good job against cigarettes.
Um. Yeah, we did, but we also, I mean, like there was certainly a lot of. See, I don't like this idea that you, like, we have this mantra, you can't legislate morality. And and I think that's just wrong.
Right, right,
I think Deuteronomy 29:29, um, Christians should take that a lot more seriously. It says, the hidden things belong to the Lord our God, and the revealed things are belong to us and our children, so that we may establish them. Um, and like, yeah, hidden things belong to God. Things that are in the public sphere are for the public. And that's a much better way of talking about it than to say you can't legislate morality, because look, when you say murder is bad, you're legislating morality.
right. Yeah, yeah. There. I mean, there's definitely a place for that as a society. I mean, we legislate like heroin. You know, we're like, maybe that's not good for us. Let's make a law against that.
Hell, they in New York City, they've legislated how large your sodas can be.
Right, right.
And there are states that still have blue laws. Like, yeah, we a certain idea has been promulgated, frankly, by sets, as Grim Grizz likes to say, but by Hollywood and the television uh, media, about what society after the 50s should be like and is like, which just is not. It's really not that true. It really isn't. And part of that is this idea that um, atheists can be just as moral as normal people. I don't think that's true. Uh, I think some atheists are as moral as normal people, but I think that comes from a residual morality, um, and that, like, our community has no role in telling us how to behave and how to live. And, like, I don't like the fact that there are literally hundreds of people living on the streets within 1 mile of my apartment. That's not good.
Yeah, yeah. We had that. We even had that where I live, which is not a huge city. But the people that run our city decided that they were going to borrow from that playbook, and I don't. Eventually, they had to crack down on it. Like as a father, I started to get concerned that my kids are going out hiking in the park, the park near our house because people are living there and hanging out. And
How old are your kids?
well, this was a few years ago, so my youngest then would have been like 9 or 10.
Okay.
So if there's people living in tents in the woods that are homeless,
Yep.
um,
There's needles around there.
right, right.
Yeah.
So about Biola, it's interesting, like what it'll be interesting to see like what they do, what institutions do. Um, I do see traction with what was the group in the CRC that
Abide.
I th- well, there were two groups, right?
Right. So Abide was the people who were for a biblical morality, and
Okay.
then
Yep.
there was the Chesed Project, which was about being affirming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Abide, it seems like what Abide did, I see other groups doing similar things, um, where they're taking a pretty aggressive stance against changes being made in the institutions.
Well, I actually think it's beyond that. I mean, I think there is a reactionary, you
Mm.
know, like, okay, we need to like take back our institutions and uh, find defensible borders. And I think that's kind of what's going on with Biola, right? Like, over the past month or so, Biola has had to change its website a few times, and I think there's a real campaign to certainly get rid of some of the professors there. Like, apparently there was a uh, an art professor who was doing like magic performance art. Risto is back. You're back.
Sorry, I got kicked. I think when I get a phone call, it kicks me off, but it wasn't for me. So
Aha.
um, I got kicked when you were saying that you think it was beyond just. You were saying you thought it was reactionary.
Yeah, yeah. They're like, apparently at least one professor's gotten fired from Biola. Like,
Hmm.
there was apparently a an art professor who was doing like magic stuff. Um, and Neil, you should jump on. Um, and like the the uh, stop biting me. Um, he's teething. Um, and there's a they've had to change a few of their web pages
Yep. Yep.
based on the pressure
Yeah,
that,
they mentioned they changed them quietly.
yeah, I mean, and that's what I mean by Biola under siege, right? They talk about having to worry about excuses. They talk about having to worry about like the California government, which, yeah, I'm sure the California government has no love for Biola University, but I'm not sure that that's really the source of the problem here. I mean,
No,
it seems like theology mom wants the president uh, gone, and she might get it too, which would be interesting.
yep, yep. Well, I think there is a disconnect or a divide. There's a difference between the parents and the staff a lot of times. And at the end of the day, the parents are paying the bills. So when the parents find out stuff, um, and the parents aren't as enlightened as the staff.
Well, okay, so when a Christian university is afraid to put its chapels on the internet, that should tell you something,
Right.
right? Like, why are they afraid that the parents will see? And it's the same thing throughout education. Like, one of the things that happened in COVID is parents saw what their kids were being taught and they were like, what is going on here? Right?
Yep.
And I mean, part of that is just the transparency of the world we live in, where um, things can go viral on X. And Alisa Child, is it Childers or Childers?
I thought it was Childers, but her name is difficult to pronounce either way. Because then I thought I heard in the episode Alisa.
Um, and I have no idea how to pronounce Theology Mom's name.
Yeah.
And aren't you supposed to be at work?
No, our schedule changed. Well, me and one other guy's schedule changed. We're doing 4 a.m. to 12 or 2 or however.
You're working 4 a.m.? Wow.
Yeah, it's better. It's better than 9 p.m.
I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Andrew.
How's it going, Rista?
It's going fine.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, you're not eating cereal. What's wrong with you?
I have my dinner here. I need to convince myself to eat it.
Uh-huh. What do you think of Biola?
I only know a couple Biola students, but there definitely seems to be that in groupness. I don't know how to put it. Yeah.
I've been calling it insularity, but okay.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Why do you what's the impetus for the stream?
Well, apparently, like there's an internet firestorm with Meg Besham and Alisa Childers and Theology Mom are getting people fired and at Biola, and they're trying to figure out exactly who and where they are and what they are.
Getting them fired over Group A, Group B, or
Well, the person who got fired, she was a performance artist, and she apparently was doing like spiritual readings using like tarot cards or whatever. Which people were like, how is this person working at Biola? And the sociology department apparently is very woke. And so I have to say, ultimately, I think it comes down to the question of, okay, if a student, like, if you're going to kick out all the gay students, are you going to... Don says, Grail Country University. And yes, pretty much all sociology departments are in fact woke. But the Grail Country, I love it. But like, are you going to kick out every student who admits to having a porn addiction? Because I guarantee you, if you do, the population of Biola is not going to be 50% male anymore. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think their concern is for their future enrollment. Because so my oldest two are now in college and considering college.
Okay.
And they're actually taking remote classes while they're still in high school. One of them is right now.
Okay.
And it's through a Christian college. They allow that
Okay.
for high school credit. But it's interesting to look at, even at this pretty conservative college where my daughter's going, um, like what the literature department is like. So my daughter's complaining that they have like tons of chapters about immigrant communities and poetry about their identity.
Mm.
And there's nothing wrong, and there's nothing wrong with that, but there's just like a ton of focus on that for an American lit class. And she's probably even more offended by the quality of that poetry, but
Yeah, for some reason, um, like, yeah, we have really great poets, like, I don't know, Edgar Allan Poe and uh, Shakespeare, and we don't want to find, we don't care that there were dead white guys because it's good poetry.
right.
I mean, so Theology Mom said, somebody asked her, like, when people ask her about sending their kids to college, she says, first and foremost, I ask them, are you sure your kids need to go to college at all? Because for that same $200,000, you could buy them a house,
Yep.
you know? Or they could become an electrician. Um, and frankly, I agree with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, like, if there's not going to be actual Christian universities, like, if you're basically saying you can't be a Christian and go to college, that's you're seeding the battlefield of ideas. And again, I have to go back to the idea of the church militant. Like, if Christians believe in conquering the world for Christianity and Christ and all that, like, what are you doing if you're in retreat? It's one thing for me, it makes sense that Yeshiva University feels embattled. There are less than 1 million Orthodox Jews by the largest stretch of the imagination in the United States. There are 60 million evangelical Christians in the United States. Like, are you really going to allow them to, like, persecute you in the United States?
Well, and I don't even think it's retreat so much as it was, because I've watched this stuff all unfold um, over the past 30 years.
Mm.
It was definitely like a slow cooking of the frog in the pot type of a thing.
She used that. So Theology Mom used that analogy too, and I hate that analogy because they've done the experiments, and the frog will jump at the same temperature regardless of how slowly you raise the temperature of the thing. Like, it just does not work.
So
That,
I'm trying to think of a better analogy then.
I mean, people have this idea that if you do it slowly enough, then it will be successful, whereas it otherwise wouldn't be, and that's just not true. It just is not true.
Well,
Yeah.
it's more than just slow, like, and it has worked. Like if you look at the mainline churches, what it's not only slow, but it also kind of plays on very reasonable things. Like it you talk about side A, side B, it plays on, hey, it's reasonable that we have a conversation about this topic,
Mm.
side A, side B. we're not making a decision about anything. It's okay for us to talk about things. Otherwise, we'd be closed-minded. So that seems like very reasonable. And then you
I
just
think
apply.
that is reasonable. So go ahead and talk about it, but that doesn't change. Like that shouldn't change your stance.
So that's an interesting point, but somehow it has, like, that approach of, I think what happened was that those conversations happened at the same time you had large societal shifts. And so that was enough that people, and I don't think it was in good faith, a lot of those conversations. I think people that were proposing the conversations already had their conclusions, and they were framing it in such a way to carefully convince other people to their side without getting kicked out.
Um, I agree with you. But if it's an actual conversation, so
Yeah.
you heard about the judicial strategy in the CRC?
I don't think so.
So the judicial strategy is when a bunch of the Chesed people got together and they decided that they were going to ordain a lesbian, like they were going to find a gay person to
Oh, sure.
ordain as an elder.
Yeah, they pushed it too fast.
Well, they pushed it at all, and there was a fierce reaction to it, and they lost dramatically. Like, and what was surprising to me is that nobody is willing to say, hey, like, this doesn't work. This was a major failure on their part, and they shouldn't have done it, and it's backfired spectacularly.
Yep.
But there's a thing on the right where people are unwilling to take a win and be happy about it.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think of how to express this, because I'm definitely more on the conservative right side of things. But the question is, was it a win for the CRC? And I think time will tell, right? You can win a battle, but
Mhm.
then if your denomination just shrinks into nothing, I guess at least you stood your ground. So that is a win. That's a good thing. But obviously their church wants more than that, right? They're not just like, oh, we're the anti-gay church. Um, they need a positive vision, and to be honest, the evangelical world, I think, is struggling right now with that. What is our positive vision?
I agree
Um,
with you.
I don't
Yeah,
think it's enough to just be like, oh, we won some fights against whatever cultural hot button issue. That's not going to be super compelling in the long run.
I think that's the difference between the Moscow mood and the under siege mood.
Hmm.
Because, like, Doug Wilson's like, I am out there, I have a vision. I don't like his vision. I think it's a terrible vision, but he's out there trying to make things happen
Oh
and
yeah.
trying to conquer. And it's like, I feel too many Christians are just exhausted.
Well, and he's courageous about what he believes and has to say, what he has to say. I I taught for a few years, and one of my former students is out there at Doug Wilson's church.
Mm.
So it was a compelling enough vision that drew his family out there.
So, I don't think we've ever talked before. Have you ever jumped on before?
Maybe a while ago.
So, tell me about your vision. What's your vision for the future?
That is a good question. I'm not sure. I grew up evangelical. I mentioned I grew up in the Nazarene church,
Mm-hmm.
um, which was probably somewhat like the CRC.
Okay.
Like somewhat conservative, but not super conservative.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, now I find myself church homeless, still Christian, but church homeless. Um, Not convinced enough by Catholic or Orthodox claims to join either of their one true churches.
Okay.
Um, but I like a lot of things about them. Um, I if there was a good Anglican church in my town, I would probably join.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of Anglicans. Even theology mom, she said her daughter has become an Anglican.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like it's a good Anglican or like traditional Lutheran is kind of like the landing place for Protestants who like a lot of things about Catholicism and Orthodoxy, but can't sign up on maybe some of the doctrinal parts.
Mm.
Um, I do find it compelling for there to be Christian institutions that aren't squishy. Biola has strong squishy vibes.
Which is weird because, I mean, they're kind of like. So here in Los Angeles, Pepperdine is a much better known Christian school. Um, and I guess they are in some ways more squishy. But when I applied to law school there, I had to write an essay about my how I would contribute to Christian life on campus.
Hmm.
Um, and being who I am, I said, well, I believe in I believe in the law of Moses as was revealed on Sinai, and I would like to think that that contributes to Christian life. Um, but yeah, I mean, and Pepperdine doesn't seem to be as under siege. At the same time, I don't know what's going on.
Well, well,
At yeah.
Pepperdine has excellence on its behalf. The worst part of DEI movies
Mm.
were when the quality was bad. Like you could make a DEI movie, just keep the quality good. Um, so unless you're like top tier, because then like I said, at the end of the day, that a lot of parents are paying for a chunk of the tuition, and they care about what happens with their kids. So if you're sending them to an institution that's like pretty good but not great, and they're really squishy,
Mm.
that's not very compelling. Whereas you have is Hillsdale on your radar?
Hillsdale's definitely on my radar. I mean, they're not in California,
Right,
and
but just as a place that's doing things differently.
oh yeah, I mean, but they're also not taking money, and
Right.
frankly, I think, I mean, I understand why they do it, and like I can respect it. At the same time, I kind of wonder if that's not going too far, because like in kind of being like ceding territory. Um,
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it's bold though. It's very Doug Wilson-y. I think there's another college like that because after my daughter talked to me about her English curriculum,
Hmm.
I went to AI and started asking about, well, what kind of Christian colleges are out there that have strong academics and a good English department.
Right.
And so it gave me a few different options, and then but then all of those most of the options it gave me kind of had literature departments that had different curriculum than they would have 20 years ago.
Mm.
So like they had, and again, not that there's anything wrong with this, but I think it is a little bit indicative, but you'd have like literature, women's literature or literature of immigrants. Um, but there were two that didn't. I think Hillsdale was one that didn't, and then there was another one I can't remember their name, but they also didn't take federal funds.
Are you thinking of sending your daughter to Hillsdale?
I mean, I do understand what you're saying about their like, are they too insular?
Well, it's just a matter of, okay, if you do send your daughter to Hillsdale, I guess she's not going to qualify for student loans,
Right.
and I'm guessing that would make things difficult on you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she might just have to go at a slower pace. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, it's kind of like the whole "you get what you pay for" type of thing. Um, I am impressed by Hillsdale, because we homeschool our kids, and then we were going through Euclid's Elements, and
Mhm.
Hillsdale had for free like an online course that you could go through uh, about Euclid's Elements.
If you're seriously considering Hillsdale, Emma and her husband met there. They both went there for undergrad,
Okay.
and they are on. Well, her husband is kind of too busy to be involved with this stuff, and Emma, ever since she's had her baby, hasn't been on Discord very much. But I think you can still ping her and on my Discord server, and I'm guessing she would be glad to talk to you about it. Um,
It,
yeah.
yeah, that's a good resource. I had way back in the day I had friends that went to Hillsdale.
Yeah, they're recent graduates. Emma is actually working on her PhD still
Mm,
in classics.
yep.
Dawn says top two results from Gemini are Hillsdale and Grove City College. I've never heard
It,
of Grove City College.
it was either Grove City. Does Grove City take federal funds? Let me look. That might have been it. But
Um,
there was another one. There were a few that AI mentioned. I think oh, what's the one in Illinois? Oh, Wheaton.
oh, we actually went and so the Chicago estuary hub, as PBK like to call it, was at Wheaton. So I got to visit there. I don't know if I would say they're very. I I didn't get hyper Christian vibes from there, but
No, they're I would say academic first,
mm,
and they're known for having pretty good academics. But I think they're probably right there with Biola in a lot of ways.
yeah. I mean, ultimately, I so when I was choosing where to go to law school, um, the rabbi at my yeshiva in Israel, he was of the opinion that you're better off going to a secular school, like or rather than yeshiva university,
Hmm.
because he kind of felt like um, the the environment of like compromising Judaism is worse than just recognizing that this is like I am going to a place that is hostile to my religion.
Right. Yep.
And I don't know. I think there's definitely some truth to that.
Oh, definitely. I can relate to that a lot. The trouble is, like, for my second daughter, the one who's considering literature, it's like where in the world would I send her? Because literature departments are as bad or worse than sociology departments.
They are, yeah.
Yeah. So what I was going to bring up was, have either of you guys heard of the initiative founded by to create a new university, called the University of Austin, I believe its name?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, one of my nephews might be going there in 2 years. Yeah, he's
So the
looking.
reason I bring it up is because I heard that it was started. It was a fund. I believe it was like what Barry Weiss and Jonathan Haidt, Jordan Peterson, a couple of figures who I have some respect for. Um, and I was curious if you were going to think that their curricula was going to be basically a good alternative to mainstream institutions.
Actually, that's a really good idea. Neil Ferguson is the president there, and I really like the stuff that he has to say. Um, and yeah, I didn't even think of that, but no, one of one of my nephews may be going to University of Boston, and uh, I mean, if you can get in, I think they are trying to be very, very competitive. Um,
Yeah,
that
I
would
think
actually be the best place.
I think I saw an interview on Peter Boghossian's channel with a mathematician. I think he maybe teaches there. I was pretty impressed by him.
Yeah, they have like a. I don't think they have a lot of different departments. I think they have basically a core curriculum and then four institutes. I think they call it where you gain experience with certain things, and they expect their undergraduates to write a thesis. So yeah, that might. I mean, that's an idea.
Yeah, I'm listening to a biography on C.S. Lewis. It's like a 3-volume biography, and the author was going into details about how the education works at Oxford.
Mm,
And I'd never heard it, and I was pretty impressed by it. I again went to AI to see if there were any places in North America that used their system, which was
mm,
basically like reading lists and then writing pretty large essays every week.
mm,
And then, defending them or basically getting feedback on your essay.
mm-hmm,
And it didn't come up with any any institutions at least that did it on a large scale.
mm.
But
Yeah.
I'll have to check out University of Austin.
I mean, so the main thing is, I think what I want to see in universities like the University of Austin is a university which is heterodox enough to challenge conventional wisdom, but not to become skeptards. And a skeptard is someone who challenges conventional wisdom to the extent that they reject any, they go into a complete postmodern territory, um, and reject any established thing because it's consensus.
Hmm. Yep.
Basically, the woke right.
Yeah, so I want basically to be skeptical without being skeptarded. And unfortunately, I feel like many people who are skeptical on the right become skeptards.
Yeah,
Well,
it's that reactionism that Jacob mentioned.
so
Yeah,
Kirk, you're about to start college, right?
I'm in college.
You are in college,
Well, community college.
community college. How's that going?
It's going well. I mean, um, right now it's my first semester, so I got quite a bit to go, but it's going well so far.
The semester's almost over.
Yeah, and then I have semesters and semesters after that, and an associate's degree takes about 2 years. So
See,
Okay.
that's a good move. My eldest daughter is in community college right now. It's her first year at community college also.
yeah, one piece of advice I think we should give to young people is to, if you're going to get a bachelor's degree, get an associate's first and then transfer to get a bachelor's. You
See,
transfer the credits.
I was pretty opposed to that um, for a long time, especially because I think the real value of college is not what you learn, but the people who you form friendships with. And I still believe that that's a huge part of what's important about college. Um, and while community colleges can serve that role, um, it's not the same as being a freshman on campus, living in a dorm, getting to know people. Um, and while I actually think I didn't get as much out of it as I could and should have, I still think it's a very valuable experience that unfortunately, you know, well, I mean, one of my nephews, he started college. His first 2 years was during COVID. He was basically not on campus at all.
Hmm.
I don't know if there's a replacement for that.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, but the thing is, just practically, the costs for associate's degree are much cheaper than the cost for a 4 year bachelor's.
Definitely. And well, I mean, it does depend on the school um, and the courses you take, but um, I mean, some community college courses are on the same level as a good university, and some university courses are worthless. But in general, you're going to have a higher caliber, especially freshman year in at a university than you are at a community college.
Yeah, but for the generals, it's like how high of caliber do you need your geography class to be?
See,
Um,
that's the thing. Like the general professor, like in the good universities, they will be truly inspirational people.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
And that's something you're not going to get. Like they're going to oftentimes be leaders in their field. They're going to be people. I mean, at USC, we had people who had written textbooks that were being used in other universities.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I if I could, I would have Jordan Peterson as my professor
Yeah.
of psychology. Yeah, I mean, but not everyone, not every professor can be Jordan Peterson.
This,
Well, in it at the end of the day, it's also what you make of it, you know. So there's probably tons of students that Jordan Peterson's taught who really haven't done a lot with that. Um, but but you can choose for your career and how you study and what you do. Even if you have mediocre teachers, you can still choose to have a pretty high degree of excellence. Now, I mean, a teacher that really pushes you, that is invaluable, though.
Yeah.
what class are you taking, Kirk?
So right now I'm taking a personal finance class, and my mom said soon the paperwork's gonna be signed for a communication class and a business. I forgot what it is. It's like an Excel and business class,
Hmm.
and then one other one, but I forgot it. So those are the classes currently within my horizon.
Ha. Yoav,
Um,
Hello.
hello, yeah.
Mashkapa.
I'm fine. How are you?
Things are
Aren't
good.
you supposed to be studying for something?
Me? I'm not studying for anything. I have hours and hours and hours of uh, of practicum. So to
Mhm.
yeah, this I'm I'm I didn't do much streaming lately, and I'm probably not going to stream. Well, on Thursday I might stream with Ben. I should remember to ask Ben.
Oh,
Uh,
the wormhole stream.
the Taste for Animal Souls stream.
Oh,
This one.
oh yeah. Cause did you stop doing the Masilat Yesharim stream?
We finished the Mesilat Yesharim streams.
Okay.
There's only 26 chapters, and we did all 26 chapters. So
Well, Jacob, I'm going to run. It was nice talking.
it was great talking.
All right. Nice to see you, Yoav, and good luck on those classes, Kirk.
Thank you.
Um,
First, I
yeah.
want to make a promotion.
Yes.
While you were away, our friend Mr. Sartori
Hmm.
was spending a lot of time on the stage reading chapter of his book. But what I want to recommend it is that today he has published an AI summary of the book in the form of animation film. And I think that works.
Aha.
I think this is something that can be promoted.
Okay.
Of course, I think he would have reservation because he will say that a lot of things were not covered and that he was giving too much credit. The AI cannot distinguish between ideas that he came up with and ideas that he learned from other people in the TLC. So it appears as if he's taking all the glory for himself. But on that understanding that it's just the AI not understanding where is it coming from,
Is
I
it
think
just me who is getting Yoav droiding, or is he droiding for other people as well?
I can hear him fine.
Aha. It might be my connection.
okay. So just watch the animation film that Sartori published. Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Because I wanted to get to touch the very important subject of porn. I consider myself expert on the subject because as a color expert, I was on the forefront of the expansion of porn into the internet. I must say. What I want to say first that it's not a species-ending event. Even AI porn is not a species-ending event. It is a survival of the fittest event, like it happened in every generation. The pill was not a species-ending event, but a survival of the fittest event. In Israel, I'm sure everybody is at some stage on the pill, and the population is exploding. The limiting factor is female reproduction. It doesn't matter for the species how many males are ending their useless life in cellars. It just doesn't get into the math. That's the definition of the male species.
Very, very based take, Yoav. Very, very based take.
Yes, I think scientifically correct as well.
That's what makes it based.
Yeah. another factor that there is a struggle between liberty and money, that money is winning. Nowadays, if you want to download some porn, or if you want to engage with AI, it's all recorded. Uh, the corporates know who you are, they know what you watched. And if you don't mind that, then you don't mind actually doing porn in public, which is slightly a stage higher than just porn. I was lucky when I was young, when the internet was free. It was much wilder than it is today, as far as I can see. Because what people will do when they know that nobody's watching is a bit more when they know that Big Brother is watching. I will stop in that. Going back to the very old days, porn always existed in male spaces. When I was a kid, if my father took me to the carpenter to discuss the production of a new table or a new closet, there will always be porn on the walls when men walked, as long as it was soft porn, of course. I think it's what is happening also is that male spaces are disappearing and are receding into the basements. My end conclusion that it is a sin, and like any vice, like alcoholism or drugs, should be limited. And I mean, it's a matter more of a relationship between a person and his God than otherwise. But there are worse problems in the world.
There are definitely worse problems in the world. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like Don said, I am in the locked ward. I can get that to show. There it is. And yeah, when you're working in a locked ward, you see that there are very serious problems in the world.
Yeah. But we shouldn't let more serious problems excuse less serious problems.
I mean, I hear what you're saying in terms of if the male population is self-selecting out, that might not be the worst thing in the world. I do wonder how much our culture artificially selecting for the wrong criteria might be detrimental to our future as people. But yeah, I mean, I hear you. Yeah, porn is going to weed out who it's going to weed out, and that is unlikely to be what stops our species from reproducing, unless AI can think of a way of creating porn that is as addictive to females as visual porn currently seems to be for males.
I don't even know if that's
For
biologically possible.
this, sorry.
I was just gonna say I don't know if that's biologically possible.
Me neither.
Yeah, it raises the question about what is female sexuality, and this is a very convoluted subject, cannot be covered in a talk, and you cannot cover it in a talk because then you might say unpleasant things about the female, which will get you banned instantly. So I will leave it at that.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you. So, Yoav, how are things in Eretz Israel?
Stalemate at the moment. It got to the point that the government is boycotting the Supreme Court. They say, we're not going to take part in your games anymore. The president is in a bind.
Mhm.
As usual, Trump has navigated him to a corner from which he cannot escape. You have to.
Is it serious that he's thinking about a pardon for Netanyahu?
He has to, because a formal request has been submitted. He has to consider it. This is why he's in a corner he cannot escape. Because
Who
as
submitted a formal request? The United States?
no, Netanyahu had.
Aha.
And we after the murder of Charlie Kirk, we discussed the matter of pardon and forgiveness in the TLC. And we have said that the idea of forgiveness without repentance is contrary to the Jewish tradition.
True.
And the Israelis are astonished that their law books allow for pardon without repentance. But that's the letter of the law, to everyone's surprise. So Trump knew what he was talking about when everybody was laughing at him, as usual. So there is no repentance, no admission of guilt, and a request for pardon. And now the president is in a bind because the job of the Israeli and the only job of the Israeli president is to tend to national unity. And this is presented as a matter of national unity, which actually it is. On the other hand, is completely in the pocket of the left. There is a commentator called Gold, Goats and Guns in the internet, and he simplifies the whole world by a struggle between old money and new money, the British and the American. He thinks that the whole world is a stage of a struggle between Britain and the US. It's a simplification.
Very Persian of him. Okay.
Yes. So in that scheme, by the way, Gold, Goats and God doesn't understand Netanyahu at all. It's completely, I mean, he shouldn't. Why should he know anything about what's happening in the Middle East? But in that scheme, Trump is new money and our president is old money. And this is Trump fighting his main foe and sort of killing one of their less important soldiers. So the president is of the camp of, you can call it the Democrats, or you can call it old money. And he will be completely betraying his base if he gives this pardon. So now he's delaying. He said, well, I have to make some consultation, and this is a blah, blah, blah. But it's as always, it's very interesting in here.
Wouldn't there be riots in the streets if he, like, I would think the Israeli left would be rioting if
the Israeli left has been rioting constantly every Saturday evening for 3 years.
Right.
Every Saturday evening. Yes, there will be riots. But now the riots move from the house of the prime minister to the house of the president, which is a win.
Mahadash.
I didn't
Oh,
even know there was an Israeli left.
there isn't. By the way, this is my first formal announcement. One of my cousins is having a bat mitzvah at the Kotel in July, early July, and I have tentatively decided to be there for that bat mitzvah, um, and which means that I will be in the area sometime around the 3 weeks. I haven't decided exactly when I am going to get there and when I am going to get back. Uh, Part of the problem is I need babysitters uh, for these two monsters you see behind you, maybe behind me. But, well, that one monster and then this other monster here who's eating my cap. Um, and so I may, in fact, get to meet Yoav in real life and Chezi and maybe
And
other.
yet you have to meet Chezi.
Yeah, I have yet to meet Chezi. But if people would like to join me in Eretz Israel, we might actually decide to do something. We wanted to do a conference in Jerusalem before the war, um, and the war kind of sort of interrupted that. It would be, I mean, there's no way I'm going to be able to arrange an actual conference for, but we might do a sort of Shabbaton in Jerusalem for anybody who's interested. Uh, I'll have to ask Fezi if he's interested in doing something like that. But
What would the
yeah,
what would the conference be about?
well, not a conference, more of a Shabbaton. A Shabbaton is mostly a bunch of people hanging around, uh, eating for most of Shabbat, but also possibly other things. So let me look at. So July. Um, Come on. So my birthday is going to be June 27th, which is the 12th of Tammuz. The 2nd of July is the beginning of the 3 weeks, the fast of the 17th of Tammuz. And 4th of July weekend is going to be during the 3 weeks. That might be, that's Parshat Pinchas. And then Tisha B'Av is going to be the 23rd of July, which is the end of the 3 weeks. And I mean, what's it's Shabbat Chazon is the Shabbat. Yeah, Shabbat Chazon is the Shabbat before the 9th of Av. That's going to be the 18th of July. Shabbat Chazon might be an interesting Shabbat to have a Shabbaton for. Um, we'll see. We'll see what Chazi has to say and what other people have to say. But if people are interested, We might do something like that.
Yeah, I know Hezi and Yoav are in Israel. Is Ben in Israel?
Ben is not in Israel. No, Ben is not in Israel. Gilad is in Israel,
Gilad, yeah.
but he hasn't been on for a while. Teddy is in Israel, but very few people even remember Teddy. He lives in Rishon, if I remember correctly. And Nehama, who's not a big fan of mine, is in the north. I don't know how involved she has been lately. And those are all the denizens, Israeli denizens that I am. No, Guy Landau. He is also in Eretz Israel.
Fine. So I'm looking forward to those dates, whatever they are. I will have to ask Hezi to what extent he will mind if I just pop unexplainably in Jerusalem and then pop out again.
On Shabbat, Halil Ahas.
Yeah, so if people would mind, then it will have to be some other day. Okay, but now, good news. I'm going to work.
Have fun at work. Yep. I
Have
think
fun,
I'm
Yoav.
going to wind this down as well.
Can we
Yeah?
please talk off stream?
Sure. Not for long, but yes. I am going to say good night to people. Good night, people.
Good night, people.